This is a picture I took 2 years ago, almost to the day in fact. And within days after taking that photo, I had a complete mental breakdown. So to answer the question, can a project car help cure mental health issues? Well, no. But also yes. But maybe not, and then maybe yes again. It's complicated like everything, and well, I'm no expert, but let's give this a bash at explaining a personal situation when it comes to mental health. So there I was in 2019, filled with hatred, worries as long as my arm and pretty much as round as my stomach. And I was sitting in the house on a Saturday night, screaming to myself internally in my mind, saying all sorts of negative things and feeling trapped beyond belief and thinking, I have to get out of here. So I did. I remember it vividly as driving this road right now. It was horrible. It was genuinely horrible inside my mind. I was out in my favourite car. The sun was setting. It had finally turned out to be a nice evening, just like tonight. It had been raining all day. It was horrible. Everything was just getting to me, and I just could not enjoy the drive because mentally my mind was all over the place. It was just that feeling of I have to get out. And when I say I have to get out, I wasn't just referring to getting out in the car. That's the thing, it was a worry. Now ironically, my mind decided that even though I felt miserable and I knew where I was going, I thought, let's see if we can do something Top Gear style. Let's race the sunset and make sure we get to the final destination before the sun sets. And would you believe it was actually easier than I would have thought? Challenges go, it really was actually quite easy. I went from the house to just outside a tiny little town called Seamill on the deepest, darkest coast of Ayrshire, called Porton Cross, and I spent quite a bit of time there. In fact, just arriving, so here we are at Porton Cross. I've got to be honest, it's not as nice this time as it was 2 years ago. The irony is, right, the picture I took 2 years ago looked beautiful once it was finished. Yet I was crying internally and externally at the time. And yet today it's the opposite. I'm relatively comfortable in my life at the moment, and yet it looks horrendous out there. Just goes through, you can't ever get anything 100% spot on. But yeah, it really wasn't very hard to get here before the sun set 2 years ago, and as much as you can't see it just now, it still hasn't set here. It's just hiding behind those clouds over at Arran. But yeah, when I came here 2 years ago, it was much like it is just now. Hardly anyone here. In fact, at the time, I think I had the whole place to myself. I didn't today, but, well, it's not as pivotal today that the car park's empty, but yeah, the time I was last here, it was horrible. Now, I know this sort of thing, talking about depression, anxiety and so forth, it's not everyone's cup of tea, so if you don't like that sort of thing, then obviously, yeah, skip this video. There'll be more fannying about happening in another video in a couple of days' time, no doubt, but for those that are interested in this sort of thing, hang around. I mean, I know that this is a taboo subject, even still today. It does get discussed, and there is Mental Health Awareness Month and all that, but I thought, you know, it's been 2 years since I had a complete mental breakdown. Seems fitting to come here pretty much to the day for when I did, and as much as I never actually had a mental breakdown on the night that I came here, it was on the verge. I don't want to go into too much detail about that night specifically, or indeed the day that I had my mental complete boom, fell apart, screaming, crying, everything, just couldn't deal with it, and then I shut down mentally, emotionally for months. When I came here 2 years ago, it was a horrible night for me. It was just everything had got to me in my own life, not so much my personal life, but work life was really affecting me badly. It was too stressful. I couldn't deal with that. Couldn't deal with some of the things that had happened in our personal life, things that you just can't really control, but it all just kind of got too much. So I ended up here, sitting in Scarlett, and the funny thing is, at the time, she wasn't even called Scarlett. She wasn't even a she. I had only owned this car for 3 months at the time. And this is the flip side of why I bought Scarlett. I mentioned in a previous video, I think it was on the blown gasket session, it was asked how I got Scarlett, and I went on about how, you know, I always wanted a car and all that was sporty and whatnot have you. I'd always envisaged having something like an MX-5, always wanted it in my life and all that. That's true, but there is a flip side to that. In October 2019, I collapsed, fell apart, right, at the end of the month. Totally fell apart, life, that was it, gone out the window. However, rewind 3 months back to, well, the end of June, start of July, I was made aware of an advert for this car, and round about that time as well, I also received a message from my mother-in-law, who sent a picture of an old man sitting in his NC boat at a supermarket with the roof down, and it was a lovely day, and she said, "Is there anything more tragic than this?" And I looked at that photo and I thought, why the F is that not me? And then I did reply saying, I don't think that's tragic, I think that's great, he's getting out, he's enjoying his car, I wish that was me. And I thought, at that point, I was okay. I knew something wasn't 100% there, but I still felt okay, and I thought, this will help. This will help me. I need to do this. I have to tick this off. It's a bucket list thing. I have to have this. I'm 31 years old at the point. I must have this in my life now. It has to happen now. It's now or never. If I don't get it now, I'm never going to have it. This will be my salvation from all the things that are wrong in my head. That was obviously flawed. This was basically an elastoplast, a sticky plaster to go over all the cracks, paper over everything and make me feel better. It lasted 3 months, and even at that, it didn't last that time. I bought Scarlett. At the time, she was just an MX-5 that ticked all the boxes. I did instantly fall in love with the car, but you know, she wasn't named until we started this channel properly. But yeah, I got this car and I thought that was going to solve all my problems. It didn't. It made it worse. So I say it made it worse. It was another added pressure on top of everything that was already mentally wrong with me and whatnot. And in hindsight, looking back, should I have bought this car with everything that was going on in my head? Probably not. Would I change it? God, no. But that's just the human condition. It's that thing of, I'm not going to change that because I've got this now, and I am completely, totally and utterly besotted with this car and will continue to be, hopefully, for years to come. I'm not going to change that, even though at the time it was a bit like, oh my god, what have I done? So yes, that's why I say it's complicated. Can buying a project car help with mental health? Well, can it cure it? No. Will it ever be something that can cure it? No, it just won't. So if you're ever thinking, oh, you know, I'll just buy something like that, don't. Trust me, it's not going to solve the problem. I know everyone's different, but it really won't solve the problem. You'll just still have that wee cocooned half hour of your day where you feel okay, and then you get out the car and go, oh my god, that's the sort of thing that happens. But can it help though? Yes, absolutely. Owning a project car can absolutely help. For me, even 2 years after my mental breakdown and rebuilding myself back up mentally, it does help having Scarlett. It always helps. There's always something to do on this car, and as much as the YouTube side of things, I do that because I enjoy doing the editing and all that. I enjoy the interaction with everyone in comment form and whatnot have you. I love all that side of things. It also helps me mentally because when I film a video, it takes a lot longer to film it than what it does when it shows up on YouTube. You know, it'll take the time to set up, to get all the shots, everything I need to get, then edit it, then put it all together, then put it all online. And also on the day when I'm filming that, I'm also doing the work to Scarlett. So it's that thing of mentally it's a release. That's what I think. If something like this is what you want to end up doing with your time, brilliant, do it. But just be aware that it will financially ruin you completely because it has me. But I think back to 2 years ago when I sat here, and I've only actually been here 3 times since. Once when I actually started the Carbo channel properly, and another 2 times, can't remember when and why, but I've been here again since. I think we filmed here for something else, but it's rare that I come here, and when I think back to that night, and I think now, I think if anyone is suffering, for God's sake, don't do it in silence. Don't keep it all in, because that's what I done. I kept it all buried, hidden as much as I could, never told my partner or anyone, never really confided in anyone about anything. I just kept it all buried and thought, you know, this will be an elastoplast, this will make me feel better, etc. And it didn't. However, nowadays, it does. It helps, you know, when I'm feeling a wee bit stressed or fed up, I will either jump in Scarlett and go for a drive, film something, or mend something. And it just cleanses my soul when I do that sort of thing. I know that that's a bit, but it's true. It does. It makes me feel better. But yeah, when I think back to that time, yeah, don't suffer in silence. Speak to someone. I mean, if you're watching this, and message me by all means. But I mean, I'm not an expert, and I am grossly underqualified for anything like that. But I could only kind of tell you what I know, what I done, how I get by. I mean, I'm still on medication. I'm not, probably never will be 100% in my mental state. I will never be fully happy, I don't think. Let's just say happy. It's not the right word. I will never be mentally, I still have off days. Mentally, I still have dark days where you think everything's against you. That's still happens 2 years later, and I'm on medication, and yeah, seek help and advice. Don't sit silently. That's all I can really say. So to answer the question, can a project car cure mental health? No. Can it help? Yes. Is it the only thing that can help? God, no. Reach out to people, human beings. As much as I like to think of Scarlett as a she, and in her own way, a person, she's not. I mean, she creates more problems for me mentally than anything else. But I think it's a distraction. That's how I look at it. I don't want to spend too long rambling on here because I could go probably for 3 hours on a therapy slant here. But yeah, sorry, this is a bit of a babble, but can't really help that. I did write some form of a bullet pointed script, but kind of went off piste. But in the end, sun's going down now behind the clouds. I'm gutted that the Isle of Arran is covered because, like I say, I'd owned Scarlett for 3 months when I came here and took that photo, and I thought the thing that really was sad was that it looked an amazing picture, and I thought, oh, all I could do that night was think I want to kill myself. I don't want to be here. And that's what's sad about it. If I didn't have a family, I might not have been here. And that would have been a mistake. Instead, what I did was I went home, didn't really say much to my partner, which was wrong again. A couple of days later, full on breakdown, and then I couldn't help it anymore. I had to start seeking help. So I did, and here we are, 2 years later. Still painful to talk about, but you know, it seemed right to do this just now. And obviously I know that this channel is all about dicking about and having a laugh and whatever else, but yeah, if anyone finds this helpful, then that's all that matters. So yeah, take care of yourself mentally. Physically, I can't help you there because look at this fucking state of me. But yeah, take care, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.